Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Mohamad Shukri bin Chia. Today I will present about my study entitled Pattern Grading Design for Women's Existing Batik Fabric in Terengganu, Malaysia, a preliminary study. Introduction. The history of batik began in the 12th century on the Javanese island, and it eventually expanded throughout Nusantara, including the Malay Peninsula. In the early 20th century, batik production began and expanded, particularly in the state of Kelantan and Terengganu. Around 1987, batik is one of the distinctive handicrafts that Malaysians particularly value. Lias and Abdul Hamid 2020, the batik industry in Malaysia is divided into 4 categories: batik block, batik tulis, batik screen and batik pewarna asli, each with its own specialties and characteristics. Hasan ETL 2018. Pattern grading is a method used by garment makers to create design patterns for ready-to-wear clothing in various sizes. A pattern clothing is graded when an increase or decrease is made to a certain design to make each new pattern in another size larger or smaller. Scofield 2007. In the garment industry, pattern grading is commonly done with a medium size M, since it makes it easier to maximize the pattern to big L size or minimize it to small 1S size. In the batik industry, there is no specific pattern grading design size for batik fabric. It is commonly designed follows the free size and regular batik motif placement. Basically, the batik fabric are either in 4-meter cut for women clothing, usually for the batik jukurong or kebaya, or 2.5 meter for men's shirt, check, and Lokman 2006. In the fashion and textile industry, the use of computer has opened up tremendous prospect for innovative design and increased efficiency as per changing lead time. Shalini Singh and Rajiv Singh 2017. The use of computers is very important in the pattern grading design process, especially the use of CAD software. CAD is more advantageous in the rapid change of any design, and it is possible to use more application on pattern grading design for garments and textiles. The potential and effective by use of CAD applications can be used and help improvement in speeding up the manufacturing batik pattern grading design style process, in addition to being able to facilitate consumers in designing the type and variety of batik. A new motif design can be created more creative, varied, and innovative by using CAD application. Therefore, this study is to look at the preliminary studies related to the common women's existing batik fabric and the use of pattern grading design method on the batik fabric in Terengganu. Interviews and observations are used in this study as a methodology to collect the data. In this study, purposive sampling technique was applied for interviews. The interview session was conducted with several batik specialists who are directly involved in the field of batik textile. It is important to consult with them to understand the real situation of the batik industry in Malaysia, especially in terms of manufacture of existing batik fabric makers for women's clothing. From this interview, researcher captures a few findings that can help the research move forward according to its research objective. There are 8 respondents were interviewed in Terengganu. However, the interview is conducted in an informal way, like a casual conversation. Some questions are added in the conversation if needed to clarify the problem. These interviews were voice recorded and were transcribed into Word. It takes approximately 10 to 30 minutes to complete the whole interview. For observation, the study applied observation as a method to get data for pattern grading design on existing batik fabric in the market. The observation takes place in selected batik market at Pasar Payang, the Alpha Craft Complex, and also at Festival Craft Kebangsaan 2022 in Kuala Terengganu. This method is important for the researcher to see the current state of batik fabric, grading size, technique, and pattern placement on existing batik fabric in the market. In addition, these observations were recorded through photograph and videos. For the result and discussion, Figure 1 show the sample of women's existing batik fabric block stamping technique on cotton poplin materials that is on market today. This sample of batik fabric is 4 meters long and 45 inch wide. Besides, it has a full pattern and no pattern grading design placement. It is likely that there will be a lot of excess fabric if producing women's clothing, because this block batik fabric has the same repetition pattern and does not need to be cut according to the chanting batik pattern layout. Figure 2 shows the sample of women's existing batik fabric chanting technique on cotton poplin on cotton viscose material that is on market. This batik fabric sample has a length of 4 meters and a width of 45 inch. It is divided into 2 parts, one part for shirt, which include 2 front and back body as well as right and left sleeve, and one part for skirt. Figure 3 shows the layout of women's existing batik fabric regular placement design that batik makers follow to design 4 meters batik fabric. Batik fabric layout is divided into 5 primary motif placement parts, one for the front of the bodies, one for the back, 2 for the sleeve on the right and left, and 1 for the skirt. The yellow part in about 15% of the layout is the excess part of the fabric which is not normally used other than a little use for the net lining. So because of baju kurung modern with kain duyung is the preferred style of women's batik clothing in Malaysia, if this 4 meters batik fabric is used to make baju kurung modern and kain duyung, the excess fabric will increase in the sleeve, bodies, and skirt layout because the shape of the pattern clothing is curved and less use of fabric, not square like the baju kurung traditional and kain ombak beralun. By developing a pattern grading design method, it will probably reduce the use of fabric for a baju kurung modern. For example, usually the use of 4 meters batik fabric to 3 meters for M size. So it has reduced 25% from the usual. Table 1 presents the result summary from the interview session about the woman's existing batik fabric situation and pattern grading design. This summary is including the findings about opinion on pattern grading design, on batik fabric design, motif, technique, color, and material that usual batik maker use to design batik, and also about type of clothing that customer choose as current trend. Table 2 presents the findings data summary from the observation at 2 selected batik market and 1 craft festival in Terengganu. This observation summary includes information on the themes, method, colors, and materials often used by batik designers to create batik, as well as the kind of garments that are offered for sale on the market. Therefore, the woman's existing batik fabric needs to be implemented into pattern grading design. The use of CAD application is a technique to create a new approach for pattern grading design in order to enhance batik design while lowering the cost of raw materials and the quantity of extra fabric that has to be disposed, which can support a zero waste campaign. Pattern grading design is something good and recommended to enhance on creating batik design because it is able to reduce the cost of raw material consumption, can save manufacturing time, and so on. We can also save material according to the design or pattern that will be used by users. This pattern grading design concept is necessary to support this zero waste campaign, and at the same time maybe it can educate the entrepreneurs to grading early before produce batik design. For the conclusion in this study is to limit the amount of excess fabric discharge. Existing batik fabric should be modified and implemented into a pattern grading design. This pattern grading design concept in creating batik design will contribute to reduce the cost of raw material consumption and reduce the manufacturing time. Besides, it can cultivate the use of current technology, especially CAD application in the production of batik design method among entrepreneurs, and it also can empower users in knowing the length of fabric that should be used according to their body size. Batik patterns and motifs will be looked at beautifully and attractively on the fashion design. Lastly, furthermore, this development can achieve one of the objectives of the National Creative Industry Policy, the IKN. It is to develop and leverage technology as a catalyst creative industry. That's all. Thank you.